You are being autopsied while you are still breathing. There is a silent biological violence in the human eye that occurs in less than 1/10 of a second. Before you open your mouth, before you extend your hand, before you offer a single chaotic thought, the verdict has already been passed. Psychologists call this thin slicing, the amygdala's instant primitive assessment of friend or foe, predator or prey. If you look weak, you are classified as prey. If you look poor, you are classified as invisible. It does not matter how brilliant your mind is. It does not matter how pure your heart is. If your appearance signals lack, the world will conspire to keep you in lack. Niccolo Machiavelli diagnosed this 5 centuries ago. He warned us that the vulgar crowd is always taken in by appearances, and the world consists chiefly of the vulgar. You have felt this. You have walked into a room and felt the oxygen leave it. You have seen eyes glide over you as if you were part of the furniture. You have watched lesser men, foolish men, wicked men be handed kingdoms simply because they looked like they belonged on the throne while you were left standing at the gate. This is not bad luck. This is the Horn effect. It is a cognitive error where a single negative trait, a stain, a slouch, a hesitation, corrupts the perception of your entire character. The world sees the flaw and assumes the whole is rot. This is the brutal geometry of perception. And until you master it, gravity will always pull you down. Most men operate under the delusion that poverty is a financial state. They are wrong. Poverty to the human animal is a scent. It is a pheromone of vulnerability, and nature abhors vulnerability. When you look diminished, not merely ragged, but defeated, you trigger a predatory response in the reptile brain of others. You invite them to cheat you. You invite them to ignore you. You invite the world to feed you its scraps. Why? Because the human brain is a cognitive miser. It is the most ruthless, energy-conserving machine in existence. It does not want to work. It refuses to dig through the mud of your appearance to find the gold of your character. It demands a shortcut. Appearance is that shortcut. When you present yourself as unkempt, slumped, or apologetic, you're handing the jury a verdict against yourself. You're saving them the trouble of judging you. You are screaming, "I have already given up, so you should give up on me too." Understand this darkness. People do not despise the poor because they lack money. They despise the poor because poverty reminds them of failure. It reminds them of how close they are to the abyss. Psychologists call this the just world hypothesis, the desperate need to believe that people get what they deserve, so that we feel safe. When a man looks poor, he looks contagious, not with disease but with bad fortune. And humans, superstitious creatures that they are, flee from bad fortune as if it were the plague. Machiavelli observed that men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand. For everyone can see you, but very few have to feel who you are. Everyone sees the mask. Few touch the skin. Think of the last time you saw a man in a stained shirt, shoulders hunched, eyes cast down at the pavement. Did you stop to wonder about his philosophy? Did you wonder if he was a genius poet in disguise? No. You labeled him a loser. You labeled him broken. You did it instantly. You did it without malice. You did it to save energy. Now imagine that broken man is you. Because often it is. We tell ourselves lies to sleep at night. We say, "I am authentic. I don't care what people think. I dress for comfort." This is the language of the victim. Comfort is the enemy of power. Authenticity without authority is just noise. When you look poor, everything works against you because you have stripped yourself of armor. You have walked onto a battlefield naked, and in war the naked are not pitied. They are slaughtered. Consider the halo effect. It is the golden twin of the Horn effect. If one trait is positive, your shoes are polished, your posture is architectural. The mind assumes all your traits are positive. They assume you are disciplined. They assume you are honest. Why? Because discipline is visible. If you cannot govern the fabric on your back, why would anyone believe you can govern a business if you cannot maintain your own image? Why would anyone trust you with a contract? The visual is the proof of the internal, or at least that is the lie the world chooses to believe. To neglect your image is to slander your own soul. There is a dark paradox in the movement of capital money flows to those who look like they do not need it. Go to a bank. Ask for a loan dressed in desperation. Smell like need. Let your voice tremble with the reality of your poverty. What happens? The vault closes. The interest rates skyrocket. You are a risk. Now take a man who needs the money just as badly, but he enters in a tailored suit. His grooming is sharp. This is what biologists call the handicap principle. Like a peacock with a heavy, dangerous tail, he signals that he has so much surplus energy and resource that he can afford to waste it on presentation. He speaks slowly with the boredom of a man who has options. He does not ask, he proposes. The vault opens. The terms are generous. Why? Because he signaled abundance. To look poor is to signal cost. To look rich is to signal investment. Nobody wants to pay a cost. Everyone wants to make an investment. Machiavelli advised the prince to be a great simulator and dissimulator, to hide his true nature if it was disadvantageous. If you are hungry, you must look full. If you are anxious, you must look bored. If you are poor, you must look like you are merely traveling incognito, because the moment they smell the blood of your need, the sharks begin to circle. Let us go darker. Let us look at the animal brain. Dominance hierarchies are not social constructs. They are biological imperatives. Lobsters, wolves, chimpanzees, and humans, we all scan for status with the same primitive neurochemistry. What happens when a wolf sees a sheep that is limping? Does it feel empathy? Does it think, poor creature, let me help it? No, the limp triggers the kill instinct. Empathy is a luxury of the safe. Predation is the law of the hungry. Human society is merely a sanitized version of this dynamic. We do not tear throats with our teeth. We tear them with lawsuits, with ridicule, with exclusion, and with low-ball offers. When you look poor, you are limping. Criminologists call this the broken windows theory. If a building has a broken window that is left unrepaired, it signals that no one cares and no one is in charge. Soon, all the windows will be broken. When you look unkempt, you are a walking broken window. You are signaling that you have no allies to defend you. You are signaling that you have no resources to strike back. This is why the poor are over-policed, overcharged, and underserved. They are low-risk targets. If a merchant cheats a man in a bespoke suit, he fears retribution. He fears that man has lawyers. He fears that man has powerful friends who can destroy his reputation with a whisper. Appearance is a form of deterrence. It is a psychological force field that makes predators hesitate. But if a merchant cheats a man in rags, he fears nothing. Who will listen to the ragged man? Who cares? By looking poor, you strip away your deterrence. You step outside the protection of the social contract and back into the law of the jungle. You make yourself safe to exploit, and in a world of finite resources, being safe to exploit is a death sentence. It's what's inside that counts. Who told you that lie? Usually it is the people who want to keep you in your place. Or it is the people who have already given up. Your interior is the product. Your exterior is the marketing. You can have the cure for cancer, a philosophical masterpiece, or a billion-dollar algorithm. If you wrap it in garbage, bury it in the backyard, and put a keep out sign on it, nobody will buy it. Marketing is not lying. Marketing is respect for the product. If you truly value your mind, if you truly value your soul, why would you house it in a temple that looks like a ruin? To dress poorly, to groom poorly, to carry yourself with the slouch of the defeated is an act of self-disrespect, and the world is a literal mirror. It reflects the respect you show yourself. If you treat yourself like a discount item, the world will bargain with you. If you treat yourself like a rare artifact, the world will refrain from touching you with dirty hands. Consider the economic concept of Veblen goods. These are goods for which demand increases as the price increases. Paradoxically, because they are expensive, they are desired. They signal exclusivity. You are a Veblen good, or you should be. When you look cheap, you signal abundance, but the wrong kind. You signal an abundance of availability. You are common, and common things are discarded. Who told you that vanity is a sin? Who told you that humble clothes are a sign of virtue? This is slave morality. It is a social strategy invented by the weak to make the strong feel guilty for their strength. They want you to diminish yourself so they do not have to feel the pain of their own inadequacy. Do not be modest. Be accurate. If you are valuable, look valuable. The loudest signal of poverty is noise. The poor man is noisy. He is noisy with his words, noisy with his movements, noisy with his complaints. He feels the need to fill every silence because silence makes him anxious. In silence, he fears he is being judged. So he babbles. He reveals his plans. He reveals his insecurities. He tells you about his debt, his ex-wife, his back pain. He gives you all the ammunition you need to destroy him, and he calls it being open. Power is silent. Look at the predator. The tiger does not announce its presence until it strikes. The CEO at the head of the table speaks the least. The Godfather whispers. This is the fourth law of power. Always say less than necessary. When you overtalk, you signal that your words have no value. You're inflating the supply, crashing the demand. To never look poor, you must master the art of the closed mouth. Consider the Zeigarnik effect. The human mind has a compulsion to solve incomplete puzzles. When you are silent, you become a puzzle. You become an open loop in their mind. They project their own fantasies onto you. They wonder, what is he thinking? Does he know something I don't? In that vacuum of information, they invent power for you. They assume you are judging them, and in their insecurity, they start talking to impress you. This is the Machiavellian flip. By saying nothing, you force them to perform for you. But the moment you start complaining about the price of gas or how tired you are, the spell breaks. You become mortal. You become common. You become one of us. And you do not want to be one of us. You want to be one of them, the outlier, the exception. This extends to your digital presence. The man who posts everything his lunch, his outrage, his every passing thought looks spiritually impoverished. He looks desperate for validation. He is dancing for likes. Scarcity creates value. Make your presence scarce. Make your words diamonds rare, hard and cutting. There is a final, terrifying alchemy to this process. When you meticulously remove every signal of poverty from your life, something strange happens to your own mind. You stop being poor. It is not magic. It is mechanics. Psychologists call this enclothed cognition. It is the scientific finding that the symbolic meaning of your clothes actually alters your cognitive processing. Put on a doctor's coat and your attention sharpens. Put on a tailored suit and your testosterone rises. Your risk tolerance increases. You begin to believe your own propaganda. The mask summons the face. You look in the mirror and you do not see a victim. You see a contender, and because you see a contender, you act like one. You negotiate harder. You walk away from bad deals. You have hacked your own serotonin system. But this requires a total war on entropy. It is in the details. The heels of your shoes, the collar of your jacket, the screen of your phone. Is it cracked? A cracked phone screen is a screaming siren of poverty. It says, "I broke this and I lack the resources to fix it. So I live with broken things." Do not live with broken things. It damages your psyche. It tells your subconscious that you deserve brokenness. And finally, audit your circle. If you are surrounded by men who look defeated, who speak in the language of victimhood, you are painted with the same brush. If you walk into a room with a pack of hyenas, no one will mistake you for a lion. Machiavelli warned that a prince is judged by the quality of the ministers he keeps around him. Distance yourself from the visual drag. Do not wait for the gold to arrive to polish the crown. Wear the crown now. The gold will follow the king. But if you stay in the rags waiting for permission to change, you will die in them. This is the Stoic concept of amor fati, love your fate, but dress to conquer it. You now understand the law, but understanding is only the first step. Execution is the abyss where most men fall. There are specific techniques to manipulate perception that are too dangerous to share on this open platform. There are psychological triggers that can make a giant kneel and a pauper look like a prince. The algorithm suppresses the most powerful information. Those exist behind the join button. If you are still here, you are not like the others. Subscribe if you haven't. But if you want what is hidden, click the join button and step into the architect level. You will unlock exclusive uncensored videos that dive into the deepest parts of the human psyche. Most won't. That is the point.